Hey guys, what's going on? It's Danny here from Retro Millennia, and today I'm going to be starting a new series where basically I show you how to do stuff that I do. So anything from making YouTube thumbnails, which is this video, or maybe I'll show you how to do some editing with Sony Vegas. So with making a YouTube thumbnail, something that's really important about that is that you want people to be able to remember your video and be able to easily find it so they can show it to other people. So the program that I use to do this is called Gymp. It's a free program. It's right here. Got the little, I think it's a dog. That's what I always think it is. It's a dog, and he's got the little paintbrush sticking out of his mouth. It's a free program. It's Linux-based. So, you know, obviously you can get it on Windows for free as well. It runs great. You know, the first install takes a little while, but it's not too bad. So what I always do is I always make sure, because that YouTube uploads in a widescreen format now, you want to have something that's in a widescreen format such as 1080p or 720p, and usually for the picture I choose I always just do 1080p. So I'm going to show you basically my whole setup of how I do it. So I'm going to open and we go to pictures, and I put it under Retro Essentials for our page, and basically I have the background right here. Now this is a version I've already edited that's been lightened so you can actually see the grid pattern on it a little bit. And so we have this, and it's, you know, no one's just gonna remember the grid background. I mean, it is a good thing to do. Like, you want to be able to be signature, so I always just do some cool kind of patterns. And say we want to do a new, I don't know, let's do Super Metroid or whatever I have in my my logos. So okay, let's do the Smash one. I just did. There we go. Yeah, I just did the new Smash logo, so this is a spoiler alert. But there it's up there. Whoops. All right. So the first thing you want to do is I hit Control L, and this brings up your layers. Layers is a very important thing because you're going to want to be able to move them on top of each other. You're not going to want to all just have them all jumbled all over the place, or it's not going to look neat. So the first thing you want to do is Control L, so you have your layers open. That's very important. Then obviously I did this a little out of order, but open your picture, and here you go. So then after that we're going to open as a layer. Right up here it's Control Alt O for your hotkey, but open as a layer, and then find the picture you want. Now I'm going to use the Smash 64 logo. So let me open that, and you know, okay, so now people will know what you're doing. You're going to have this, and I typically like to have them centered. So I am going to zoom this because I think it's a little too small for my liking. So what I do is I right click on the layer up here. Also, why layers are important: if you have this below this layer, it goes away. It's literally underneath it. That's why layers are important. So put that back up there, and now what we want to do is called scaling. You see how like it has a little box right here, it goes to a big box. You're going to want to scale that. Now one thing that's really important with scaling is you got to make sure this little chain is connected. If it's not going to scale evenly, so the width and the height will not change the same. So if you start doing up here or up here, only that one will change. So you want to have them connected, which I think it defaults to connected, and then they both move together like that. Otherwise it'd be a big hassle to try to get them exactly the same without having them connected. So we'll just scale that really quick, and boom, now it's monstrous. Now I just did a random size. I didn't pick a specific pixel number that I knew off the top of my head. I usually just mess around with it until I find a size that I like. So that's something that's good. Now that looks fine to me, and you can have a little pixelation here, a little there, but I just got this background clear off Google. And the next thing I normally do is I always do the text for the names for me and Rob. When this is who's playing, it's going to be me and Rob. So the first thing I do is I put my name in, and it's black right now, you can't really see it, so I highlight it. And then mine is going to be this nice deep red. I have all my colors preset from all the other thumbnails I do for like Pokemon and Wind Waker. So it's great, but it's too small, you can't see it. And I think I normally make mine about 250 is about the average. That might be a little too large. Let's make it 200. How about that? Just feeling like Bob Ross right now. Let's just add a little one right here. And then now it doesn't look like if you've seen any of my other thumbnails, it doesn't look like my actual logo. So what I did is I downloaded the font called Argentina, I believe. Yeah, Argentina. And now that is actually the same font that is used for the Metroid logo. And I goofed and underlined mine by accident in the original, so now I just have to have a continuity thing where I always outline or underline them. So I think it looks cool anyway. It doesn't really bother me that much. So now you have this, but it just kind of looks boring that way. Like there's nothing special about it. It doesn't really pop yet. So what you want to do is, a way to make it pop is I like to add an outline to my name. So you don't have to highlight it. I think this is just from doing all those word classes that I took, that I highlight it, and which over here you're going to click on the layer that you want to outline specifically, and you right click on it and you go down to what's called an alpha channel right here, and you click alpha to selection. So right here, what this is going to do is it's going to outline whatever layer you've clicked. So you click right here, and what this does is it now has completely selected it. But that's not enough, because what we're going to do next to make the outline is you want to make it a separate layer so you can individually edit that layer. So after you've done this outline, next you want to click new layer right away. Don't do anything else, just click new layer. And don't worry about this because it's already properly set up. So you just click OK. And now this is a whole new layer. This alpha channel that we just outlined right here is a whole new layer. Now if I were to just try to paint that, what is this? Shift B. Shift B is the hotkey for paint. If I just paint that, it's now, because it's the outline, it does the whole thing. It's a new layer. But the problem is that it's the same size. So Control Z, you want to undo that. What you're going to do is you go up to here and you're going to click Grow. Now with this, it doesn't really matter how big or how small you want to do it. Obviously bigger than 1 because it's not going to be big enough. Usually I do 6 because that's what makes it really stand out. So I do by 6, and now you can see this alpha outline right here has really stood out. You can see it's no longer lined up with the actual red, but the new layer that we've made. So you want to paint that, and oh no, it's on top of it. You can't see it. That's not a big deal, because what you do over here now with these layers, because it's on top, you just bring it underneath. And what that does now, if we were to, you can kind of see the black outline, but here's a cool trick. There's another little box here that I didn't know what it was, but I found out. If you click on this, it's a chain, and what it does is it moves that layer with whatever ones are chained. So say I were to have all 3 of these chained, all of them are going to move together. And it's, it's a little laggy because it's a lot to process at once, but whatever. So Control Z, undo that. But if you move this away so I can show you, you can see that my name clearly has a black outline around it right here. So, whoopsie, that looks good. But it still doesn't kind of stand out in my opinion. So what you want to do is undo. Back to the point it is. And what I like to do is I like to add a drop shadow. And oh, I think I used the incorrect background for this. I really should have used the red one that I used for the original. But anyway, I use a drop shadow, so it kind of looks like it's floating on top instead of just a flat image. It makes it really pop out. So what you do up here is on filters, you go down to light and shadow. And what this does is drop shadow right here is going to add that effect. Now, for some reason, it always just, opens up underneath, and I don't know how to make it stop doing that, so it doesn't really bother me. But you can do whatever color you want, anywhere you want. You can mess with all these over here, blah, 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 blah. When I do a black background, I usually just make it a black drop shadow, so I can make it just look like the black doesn't really get changed at all. I've done white before, where it looks okay, but it doesn't really look like, it gives it more like a glow effect more than a floating effect, more or less. It really just looks like it's kind of glowing, which if that's what you're going for, that's awesome. But that's not what we're going for. So we're gonna delete that drop shadow, delete layer. And then now we're gonna go back to light and shadow and do a drop shadow, but we're gonna do black. So good, and then just hit OK. Now you can't really see it because it's on a black background, like I said, but if I move it onto the Smash logo, you can see that there's a very faint black glow on it. And I will actually keep doing that. I will open add a new layer really quick. And then we're going to add a picture. Oh, I did the thing wrong. One sec. And we're just gonna open as a layer. That's what I meant to do. And we're gonna go to pictures. And we're gonna go to Retro Essentials. And we'll just make it a, we'll choose the diamond one because I like the diamond one the best. Okay, so right now this is on top. So, we're just gonna put that all on top. And we're not going to mess with anything else. So this is way too dark to see anything. So if you want to brighten something up, which is a really important feature, you can go over to colors and go to brightness contrast. Now, one thing that's really good about this is that it can really make it pop. So like if I want to brighten it by 80, oh, see, now it's going to do that. Okay, 1 second. Now I have to select this really quick. Sorry, don't worry about that. All right, so if you want to brighten this by 80, boom. Now, it doesn't look that good because it looks like there's just kind of like this white film. You can see everything clearly, but it just kind of looks like, oh, that doesn't look solid. It looks like washed out almost. So you have to mess with the contrast. And I found that usually 16 less is typically about the appropriate amount, anywhere from 16 to 18. So you can do 16, or excuse me, that's 26, but 16 would be 64. There you go. Which you can do 54 if you want. That actually looks pretty good too. So now that that's been edited, you still won't be able to see that black backdrop. So let's give it a different color. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to colors again, and you go down to colorify. And what this does is, it gives you the pre-custom or the preset colors right here, and something that'll make it really pop. I mean, white is it usually does a preview, but I don't know why it's not showing us it. Let's make it. I think it'll pop really nice on the blue. So let's make it blue for now. So now if we do the blue, and then we bring this down here, and then we mute that. There we go. Yeah, now it really pops out. Sorry for the little detour there, but now that we have this, come on now, all set up. Oh, I did not apparently select my drop shadow properly. Why is it not, oh, interesting. There we go. Okay, so now you can see that there is definitely that glow. If we see how it kind of like, there's that outline there, that's the black outline that we were doing before, and the drop shadow, see how it just like, that's flat and that pops off. That really makes it stand out. It's a huge difference when it comes to making it look like you really want it to stand out three-dimensional. Granted, I'm not on a 3D monitor or TV or anything, but it does look a lot different, which is something you really want. So the next one I'm just gonna fly through really quick. Oop, after we minimize that really quick so I can actually put the new text in. Now let's just unchain all these, and T for text is the hotkey. So next let's do Roberts. Now I've already made the real one, this is just a demo of course, the real one's gonna be red, but let's make his like 275. Now it looks horrible because of the font it's in, but I used his for the Triforce font, which I downloaded of course, and boom, there it is. Black looks terrible, you can't see it at all. And I make his like a soft green almost, so it's very Zelda-esque, it's okay. And right now, see how this is below these two shadows? I typically don't care, but I will put it up here for now, because if it's down here and say you try to move it around, it will sit underneath. Weird, see how it's like got like this weird Y thing popping through all of it? That's because all of the layers are all messed up. If you put it right on top, now it sits right over top of it, which also is easier for when you want to basically edit the layers later if you want. So now that we have Robert's layer, we're gonna add that alpha selection again, so it outlines it. I'm gonna do a new layer, just hit OK, it'll be fine, and then we're gonna move it a little bit first, because actually, you know what, I'll show you. If you grow it by, we'll just do it like 10, because that'll do it. 10. Oh no, 10's too small. Okay, let's just go over the top with it then. We'll go by like 40. If you do that, what it's going to do is it will cause the outline to go beyond the border, and when you export the image, it'll actually create this black line above it, or whatever edge you put it on, which will ultimately make it look really bad, and it won't look as clean as you want it to. So let's just go back and we'll just do grow by 6 again, and then we'll go paint, and we'll make it black. I like the black backdrop. Now it makes that green nice and poppy, but it still doesn't float yet, which is what we want. So we're gonna go to filters again, light and shadow, drop shadow, and it's already on the black, it's already got the 60, and if you change the opacity, it's like the intensity of how good the glow is, so let's change it to 100. And now you can really, let's go to move, you can really see it comparatively to my name. So like if I move this down here, like, and we turn the drop shadow off and on, you see how much more that moves, versus if I move my layers down here, Oh, yeah, I always do that. Grab that one too, because I don't need that. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I'm not even sure what this... Oh, that's the new layer I made. That's what's throwing me off. Okay. Delete that. There we go. So if we do the drop shadow off and on, it's very small compared to Robert's drop shadow, which we'll just leave it like that for now. But if they're both on, off, on, and, you know, it's all personal preference what you do. I just like to do a little one because you don't need a whole lot of glow for it, so it's fine. I'll just move. Oh, see, that's what you get when you don't, when you're getting ahead of what you're thinking. All right, so let's just unchain all this goody good stuff here, and we'll bring Roberts back up. Now, one thing that is always a signature with our thumbnails that is a really good idea for when people will remember your channel is you want something that will always be like, oh, I know that's Retro Millennia, because just like with JonTron, JonTron always has his little 16-bit sprite or 32-bit sprite on his thumbnails, and the Game Grumps have always the little cartoony heads that Aaron draws. And what we do is I made, open as a layer, I made the award seal. So basically, that's what it was originally named. It was just an award seal, and it was just red. It was really boring. I don't even know where the original is. I can pull that up if I can try to find it. Let's just move that really quick. And I always just outline it right here, so let's just move it up. And boom. There you go. Now, Retro Millennia seal, that's always right there. So that'll always sit there, and it's really helpful because you'll always see that in every, basically every, oh dear, I did a thing, and messed up moving. Let's unchain all those first and then move this. There we go. Okay. Sorry. But people will always come back and remember that, and it's just a cool idea to have. You don't have to do it, but this is something I made in another session of Gimp, which I could show everybody how to make if so requested. Now, still kind of boring, you know, you see Smash Bros, you know it's me and Rob playing, and you know that it is our channel, but there's nothing that's like unique about it, and I always do the numbers. So the first thing we're gonna do is number one, excuse me, and highlight. Let's make it, I'll make it I don't know, let's make it purple, I guess. We can get a nice bright purple. And I always make the logos for the newer games before I really knew how to do all this. Now I do it 500, which is monstrous, but you need that so people will know what episode you're on. And then I use a font called SF Slapstick. It's kind of cartoony, kind of comic-y, and I really enjoy it. And now we're gonna do the same thing that I've been doing. So basically, we will just go alpha, new layer, okay, select, grow by 6, and what color should we do? We'll do a yellow, make it pop. Purple and yellow always seem to go well together. There we go, and then we will, boom, now it's purple and yellow, and it stands out really well. So what you want to do now, one thing that I used to run into a problem with was when I would do the filter, and we go to the drop shadow, I'm like, oh, sorry. I'm like, well, how do I know what yellow I just used? Well, there's an HTML notation. This is basically the color code. And what's cool is Gimp allows you to open both color boxes at the same time. So you can literally just copy this one, control, oop, oh, now I did the thing. Son of a, oh, copy this. I hit Control C, which is normally works, but I'll just do copy and paste for this one. Boom. And now that exact yellow is there, and we'll turn that back down to 60, because that's what I like it at. And 60. Boom. Glowy drop shadow. And that pops out really nice, because yellow stands out really nice on this kind of faded turquoise background. So we're going to move all those together. And that looks like it stands right on top. Now, it's okay that it's overlaying Robert's name, because you can still get the general idea. Now, I mean, you could do this if you want. I try to leave at least the majority of everything uncovered. So, basically, you know, you can still see everything and everyone knows what you're doing. And I always try to add one significant thing about the game in each thumbnail. Like, with our Pokemon thumbnails, I did Gengar. With Zelda, that was an older one that I did, so it was before I knew how to use Gimp. That was just the logo. But when I say use Gimp, I really mean like really go into depth with using all the layers and things like this and doing all the drop shadows and whatnot. I would just put the logo on, or the game logo over top, and then do our names, and I didn't know how to do all the outlining and everything, so it was really boring, and I actually went back one day and redid all of it. So that's why everything looks quote-unquote better to an extent. So now we're going to open it as a layer, and I have it saved under sprites, and I have the new Ness sprite from Super Smash Bros. 4. I thought that was just cool, and I think he's too small there, so after we unchain everything, I want, where's Ness? Basically just want Ness to sit on top, and we're going to scale him up. Now, you can use the scale tool, which I'll show you in the toolbar on the left in a second. Just scale him like that big, that's okay, and we'll just move him to like right there, and then that's too big, so we'll just scale down. Like I said earlier, just really goof around with it really until you find what you like, and that looks good. That's okay to me. Like, it's okay that we're covering the period, you know, people could still know that that's the thing we're playing. And because it's the old N64 logo, it's not going to be, you know, people are going to know that this obviously isn't the new one. I would have put the new one in there if it was for the Wii U. I would put the Wii U logo. So now we're going to open one more as a layer, and we're going to put, I like to grab the old one as well. And he's already bigger, so I don't really need to scale him at all. We'll just put him over there, and now we have that Ness there, that Ness there. And one concern you guys probably will have is that you see this #1 alpha channel from when we did this. This will not show up when you export the picture. So what you want to do now is you can go up to File. Oh, I said I was going to show you the Scale tool over here. I'm sorry. You do the Scale tool. If you click this, see how it kind of weirdly only selects this arbitrary section of the scale? For some reason, Gymp still has some coding issues with that nonsense. I don't know why it is. So what I do is, if you want to grab the whole thing, just do it in your layers over here. It's a lot easier and there's no more headaches about it. You can do scaling if it's just one item, but I find the scaling now works a lot easier if you just scale like this, because it selects the entire thing. But we don't want to do that. So now the last thing you want to do, once you're satisfied with whatever you've made, I'm just gonna move this a little bit. Move like right there. Looks good. Now if we want to, and it's already in 1080p format, we want to export it. Exporting will basically make it a final image. This is basically still an editable, if that's a word, picture where you can still change everything. Once you export it, it will just be like a flat image. So if you just click save or save as like you would in Paint, Paint will always put it as the final picture, but this will leave it as a what's called a .xcf, which is the edit enabled, or what's called edit enabled picture. So what you want to do is go export as. This will make it the final picture, just like as you would with rendering a video in Sony Vegas down here, or bouncing a song in Pro Tools, something like that. So what we're going to call this is Smash 64 thumbnail example EX. There we go. We'll just call it Smash 64 thumbnail EX. And it's in a JPEG format, which is a slightly compressed format, but it'll still be clear enough for what YouTube is, because no one's really going to be just looking for the thumbnail, be like, oh, is that really that compressed? You can put it in a PNG format if you want. That is completely uncompressed, but it's also a bigger file format, and YouTube only allows for 2 megabytes. So we're just going to do .jpeg, and you're going to click, you want to make sure that you want to put it wherever you want it. Normally I put it under videos, and then under Retro Millennia, and game logos, thumbnail, and the real one's already in here. You can see on the preview, it's going to be, oh, it won't show up in the preview, but it's usually right there. But I'll just export it in here as well. Boom. Oh, whoops, I changed the file name by accident by clicking on that. Smash 64 thumb EX. We'll just do that. Thumb EX. Now export. What this is going to show is the quality. I usually just do 100 because it's not going to be too big for YouTube. And you can do advanced options, but I don't even know half of this stuff yet. There's really no need to change any of this. I'm always satisfied with how it exports. You click export, and boom, it's done. Now the last, you want to view what it looks like, right? So enjoy my Metroid background that is not scaled to my monitor for some reason. You want to go over to videos and open it up in the folder that you just did. So we'll just go into Retro Millennia, go into my game logos, thumbnails, and Smash 64. Where is it? So, boom. And there it is. And it looks just like it did as if it were in Gymp. It doesn't look like it's compressed. It doesn't look like if, you know, Facebook compression where it looks really pixelated or anything. It still looks really nice and crisp. Now, the actual one we're going to be uploading is this one, which is next to identical. It's just I did a different background to kind of make it look more like it matches the Smash logo rather than everything else, with the faded teal kind of stands out awkwardly. So there you go. And that is basically how you make a thumbnail in Gymp. So I hope everybody enjoyed. I can just go over a quick idea. Just remember, you want to have a background that you can lay everything flat on top of, and then just really bring it to life with your own creative ideas. And I can go over more if people request anything or have any questions. Alright, this is, again, Danny from Retro Millennia signing off. If you enjoyed this video or found anything about it helpful, or you got any questions, feel free to comment below. Give our video a like. I really appreciate all the support that anyone gives us. And hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of these kind of things. Thanks, guys.